starting the day by visualizing yourself as the person who could achieve that goal. Hi everyone, and welcome back to The Business Bar, the only place where we serve you delicious drinks as well as delicious business and life advice. My name is Erin, I'm a personal branding strategist and online business mentor. So what I'm actually going to do for today's episode is talk all about goals, because it is mid-year 2018. What the hell? This year has gone so quickly. Being mid-year, it actually brings up a lot of emotions for so many people because they set all of these fabulous goals at the beginning of the year, and then it's like, I've just lost 6 months of my life and I haven't achieved anything. What do I do now? And a lot of people give up at this point, but I want to stop you from doing that. So I'm going to give you some really scientifically backed ways to look at your goals so that you can turn the year around and actually achieve them. I've actually paired this episode with a delicious sparkling wine cocktail. It's called a French 75. Now, my thoughts behind this was, New Year's, goal setting time to celebrate. Thought I'd chuck on a fancy sparkling top and share a delicious sparkling wine cocktail with you to hopefully inspire you to reset and get onto achieving those goals. If you enjoyed the episode, I would very much appreciate if you let me know why in the comments below. And of course, if you are new around here, become a regular by subscribing to the channel. Before we actually get into the goals talk, I want to teach you how to create a delicious garnish. So this is a pretty simple cocktail, but something that I haven't taught here on the Business Bar is actually how to make a garnish. Now, this is something you can do with a lemon, an orange, a clementine, lime, whatever you want to do. But basically, to make a nice curled citrus garnish, what you want to do is actually cut as close to the edge as you possibly can around your piece of fruit. And do this very slowly. This doesn't have to be quick. You just want to try to make the line as straight as you possibly can. And then what you want to do is, so that you don't get the nice bitter part from the pith, you just want to try scrape off a bit of that white stuff on the back. Now, this is not completely necessary. It's just what, the really strict bartenders and mixologists like to do, just to make sure that you're not adding any of the bitterness of the pith to the actual cocktail. Then, just to make it look nice and neat, you want to straighten up the edges by cutting it into a nice rectangle shape with ribbon type ends, so diagonal ends. And then simply all you're going to be doing is twisting that around. So I'm going to put this to the side for now, but that is going to serve as a nice, beautiful garnish on the top. When it comes to not having achieved your goals, you might have set all these beautiful goals at the beginning of the year and you haven't even gotten close to achieving them. Something that's really important to think about is maybe your personality is not permitting you to achieve these goals. So many of us set all of these goals with the best of intentions, but we are so used to being ourselves, we're so chemically wired that for us to actually make the changes that we need to achieve that goal, it becomes a huge point of resistance. So what we're actually doing is we're setting these amazing goals. Maybe it's to lose weight, maybe it's to start a business, but it's so outside of the realm of who we've trained ourselves to be, who we've conditioned ourselves to be, that our body, our mind, every part of us freaks out and says no thanks and will feed you any excuse it possibly can to get you to stop trying to make such a big change in our lives. We get to a point where the way we are, the person that we are, the characteristics we have, the personality that we have, it just feels so comfortable. Now, this is something that Joe Dispenza talks a lot about in his book, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. When we are conditioned to be a certain way, it's really, really hard to break out of that. And then most of us are setting goals outside the realm of the person that we currently are. And that's why we feel resistance. Our body, sends all of these signals going, no thanks, don't do that, start tomorrow, it's not gonna happen. And we believe these signals to be true, or that they feel so good, these excuses feel so good, so we succumb to them. And every single time we do that, we are just getting further and further and further away from our goal. If you've set goals and you feel that in order for you to be able to achieve that goal, maybe it's a new fitness lifestyle, maybe it's a new business, a new relationship, if that goal is outside of the current state that you are in right now, what you want to do is you want to start training your mind to see yourself in a different way. And a really great way to do this is with visualization and intentions. So, we've all heard of acting as if when it comes to the law of attraction, or up-leveling our lives, or stepping into the shoes of the person we're trying to be. That is so powerful. It's not just a statement just to make you feel good. It's an actual act that you need to do to be able to become the person that achieves those goals. I could get into a whole different story here about quantum jumping and quantum leaps and all of this stuff, but a simple thing I want you to do to start achieving your goals in 2018 is starting the day by visualizing yourself as the person who could achieve that goal. So maybe your goal is that you want to lose weight and you've just not been able to do it. Start every single day visualizing yourself as a healthy person, a person who makes the right nutritional choices, a person who doesn't have to struggle and internally fight with themselves to get to the gym, someone who just takes the stairs instead of the elevator. Visualize yourself as this healthy person, and what you're going to find is that your mind starts getting a lot more comfortable with the situation because you're training it to think in a different way, that the resistance naturally starts to melt away. Now, this is a really good one if you felt that you really want to achieve your goals, but you always come up with an excuse. So definitely give that one a try, and I absolutely love to see how it works out for you. And if you want further resources, have a look at the book, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. So this cocktail is actually, as I said, very, very simple. It's simply made with gin and a little bit of sugar syrup, and then topped with sparkling with some lemon in there as well. It's really nice. It's a really nice kind of Christmassy or New Year's cocktail, which kind of doesn't make sense because it's the middle of the year, but if you're celebrating Christmas in July, serve away. So what I'm gonna do is just start with 30 mils of gin, and I'm gonna put this straight into the glass. This doesn't require any shaking or anything. We're just building this cocktail straight into the glass. And of course, it's really important that you spill it everywhere, because that's what real bartenders do. They just spill it everywhere. So make sure you do that, otherwise you're not a real bartender. So we're actually just going to use 15 mils of lemon juice for this one. Don't want it too citrusy. So my next piece of advice, and the next reason that you may not be achieving your goals thus far in 2018, is because simply your environment doesn't support it. If we actually go back to the health example, if you were trying to lose weight, a simple example of this is if you've always got junk food in your house, or if you're setting yourself up to make it difficult to go to the gym, then you're not going to be able to achieve those goals. You have to make your environment match the goals that you're trying to achieve. And this can get really radical by, culling certain people in your life, or even moving or making radical changes, but it doesn't need to be like that either. Say for example, you are trying to start a business and the environment in which you operate in just does not support that. You don't have the right resources around you, you don't have the right books, you don't have the right support, you don't have the right connections. You need to start filling in those gaps and making those changes, because it makes it a lot easier for you to achieve those goals. Get the books that you need, and this doesn't need to be buying things. You can go to the library. Make sure you always have resources around you. If you don't have people in your immediate life that can talk about business, that can support your goals and dreams, get online and start networking with people in Facebook groups, or go to networking events near you. And if this all sounds like too much work, then it's time to evaluate whether the goal actually means enough to you, which I'm going to get to in a second. But your environment needs to support your goals. You need to make it easy for yourself. If you were trying to lose weight, set up your gym clothes the night before. Make sure you don't have junk food and you're filling your fridge and your house with healthy foods for you to eat. If you've got chocolate there, you'll eat it. If you have kale there, you'll probably eat that. Even simple things like if you've got the Uber Eats app on your phone and you find that you're ordering takeaway all the time, just delete that app. Set up your environment as much as you possibly can to be the person who would make the right decisions. It's going back to the first example as well. We have to become a different person to achieve our goals. And the way that we set up our environment, the people that we network with, the way that we think, talk, and act every single day based on our environment is going to affect our ability to achieve those goals. So figure out, first of all, who you need to be to achieve those goals and start visualizing those. And then that person that you are visualizing, what type of environment would they live in? If you want to learn stuff, have books, have resources around you. If you want to lose weight, have a healthy environment around you. If you want to be in a new, fresh relationship, you have to put yourself out there. You can't try and manifest a relationship from your couch watching Netflix. Put people around you, put yourself in certain circumstances, go to a cooking class, go to, sign up for things where you can meet people. Your environment needs to match your goals. So the next thing we of course are adding is the sugar syrup. Now, simply how I make my sugar syrup, you can just make it with sugar and water. I make mine with stevia, only because it's the only sweet thing I have in my house, but of course it makes it less calories. So you can make it with whatever, just do some warm water, put it into a glass with sugar syrup and wait for it, with sugar and wait for it to dissolve. Now the next thing when it comes to your goals about why you might not be achieving them is because you don't have the right strategy. And I know this might seem simple in concept, but it's amazing how many people think that they can achieve something just because somebody else has achieved it in that way. Let's go back to the health or business examples. You might have read an entrepreneur online and their story and about how they got heaps of publicity and did all these collaborations, and that's how their business started to thrive. So naturally you think that that is going to be the way that works for you. And so you try and 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 nothing happens. There is a multitude of ways to achieve certain things in life. And if something isn't working for you, it's time to evaluate and to look for another course. Just because somebody else had success in a certain way, it doesn't mean that that is the way that is supposed to work for you. If we get a little bit esoterical here, you know, we all have unique paths and we're all supposed to learn certain lessons in life about the journey that we are on. So listen to your intuition, listen to your path, listen to your setbacks and failures and find a new course. Maybe you need help with this. Maybe it means going and hiring a coach that can tailor your journey to your needs. Maybe it's doing a course, maybe it's learning new things, but either way, if you find yourself trying something and not working, that is never, ever a reason to give up. It's a reason for you to understand that there is another way. So get experimental with your goals. If you've tried to lose weight with the paleo diet and it didn't work for you, maybe you should try something else. Maybe you should try CrossFit. Maybe you should try yoga. Maybe you should try a self-love approach. Never give up on your goals. The worst thing is I see so many people trying to start a business, trying to start a YouTube channel, trying to start a podcast, trying to lose weight, trying to find a relationship. And we're so accustomed to getting everything instantly and everything so easily that we try the simplest thing or we try the most comfortable way in order to achieve that goal. It doesn't work and we give up. We think it's not meant to be. We think maybe I'm not supposed to achieve this thing or have this thing in my life, but it's not that. You just have the wrong strategy. There's always going to be a way for you to get to your goals. You've just got to find the right strategy. Okay, now this is the most exciting part of this cocktail, which is of course topping it with some delicious sparkling wine. I just have some Chandon here. If you're gonna get real fancy, you can get champagne, you can get Prosecco, whatever tickles your fancy. But this is truly where the magic does happen. And of course, we just want to give that a little bit of a stir just to get that lemon juice all nice and mixed through. And then of course, we are topping it with our delicious garnish. And then my final piece of advice, and this is gonna be a little bit of a kick in the butt, but honestly, sometimes we just need to hear this as a reminder. If you've set all these amazing goals at the beginning of the year and you haven't achieved any of them, maybe you're not trying hard enough. And I know that's simple, and right now you probably want to kick me, but I want to kick you too, because at the end of the day, sometimes we just don't have compelling enough reasons why, or we're letting our fear get in the way and we're just not giving it a red hot go. You've got to wake up and be really conscious to the situation, and I've given you some really strategic tips about becoming the person that you need to be to achieve your goals, setting up your environment and finding a strategy. But if none of these work for you, then maybe you just need to give yourself a little bit more of a push. When we're achieving things, the hardest part is the stage of resistance. That's the phase when things are changing. After that, it gets easier. You know, we've all heard the term neurons that fire together, wire together. When you become the person, when your environment reflects your goals, everything becomes easier, but it's the growing pains, it's the transition, it's the change that feels uncomfortable. And this is where so many of us just don't try hard enough to see it through. So if you become conscious to the fact that maybe you're just not trying hard enough, please, please, please give yourself the luxury of time to go through the pain, to get outside your comfort zone, and to just give things a little bit more of a try. You're gonna experience fear. It's gonna feel uncomfortable. It will be hard. hard. And the sooner that you can accept that, the sooner that you can actually start achieving your goals. You know, it's like those memes, oh, starting a business was easy, said no one ever. Losing weight was easy, said no one ever. It's a universal thing to understand that achieving goals is hard. It's never gonna be easy. So please try hard, don't give up on yourself, love and respect yourself enough to see it through so that you can start living the life of your dreams, because on the other side of your comfort zone is everything that you've ever hoped for. So that is it for me. Those are my tips on how you can turn it around and finally start achieving your goals in 2018. If you've got any suggestions of your own for how you go about achieving your goals, then please do share with the community in the comments below. Thank you so much for joining me at the Business Bar. I hope you're walking away drunk on knowledge and empowered to take action on your dreams. If you're new around here, of course, subscribe, because I would love to see you next week. I really appreciate you joining me, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers. So the next thing we are adding to this cocktail is, of course, the sugar syrup. Now let's see how nicely I can pour this. Now let's see how nicely I can pour this.